Take my money now. You know, wearing those black and blue and white threads on the ice this fall will be defenseman Sean Durzi, among others, Durzi entering his fourth season in the NHL. He's still pretty young, but he's gained experience that can only come through hard work and patience on the ice. After playing AA hockey with a pair of teams in the Greater Toronto Hockey League, Durzi was drafted by Owen Sound Attack of the Ontario Hockey League. He qualified for the 2017 NHL entry draft, but he was not taken. It only took one more year, though. That's when Durzi would hear his name called in the second round by his hometown Toronto Maple Leafs. Durzi shared his roller coaster draft experience with Jay Stevens of KSL Sports' Utah Puck Report podcast.
So we sit through the first draft, and when the draft finished, I was crushed. I thought it'd be okay. I was pretty crushed for the first little bit, and then I was motivated. And then the next year, I had a really good year. I had a really good summer. I kind of scraped the board clean and said, what do I got to work on? What do I got to get better? And I put everything into it. And I was lucky enough, the next year in 2018, the draft you're talking about, to get picked in the second round to Toronto, which was, it was a great experience. And I think we sat through the first round, and I kind of looked over at my parents and I said, this is kind of feeling a little bit like last year. And I wasn't expecting to be a first rounder, but I was, still kind of getting that PTSD a little bit of I might not get picked this year too. You never know. So I think just being picked was a relief for myself. And then in the next coming weeks is when you realize, being picked to a market like Toronto was pretty crazy. Especially growing up there.
Utah needs to know what they're getting out of Sean Durzi. Are you, tell us what kind of player you are and what role you're going to fill.
Yeah, well, I play, I'm a right shot defenseman. In LA, I played both sides, the left, and even last year I played right and left defense. I was always known in junior hockey as a power play guy and coming up through the ranks there. And in the NHL, I was lucky enough to play power play right away with LA. But I think I've taken a lot of pride in my ability to kind of play both sides of the puck now. I think this year having the opportunity to defend against top lines around the league, challenge myself to see how well I can shut them down while still producing, on the offensive side of the puck.
Have you ever been to Utah before?
I have. I was lucky enough to play a game there with LA 2 or 3 years ago. I played in that Frozen Fury game.
But so you're one of the few guys that got to play in the Delta Center. Have you told other people what it's like, or can you tell us what the experience is like for, one of the only NHL guys that's played in the Delta Center?
It was a competitive game because of the atmosphere, to be honest with you. You can tell that, people were excited about having hockey in that building. And for a preseason game, it was one of our rivals. We did play against Vegas at the time, and you can tell that it was there was an energy in there, and it was pretty cool to have that energy in a state that didn't have hockey at the time. So that was exciting for Utah to get those games, in the preseason, and just to see the action live. It's so much different than watching it on TV. It's you hear the glass banging and you hear guys yelling and the crowd's going crazy, and that atmosphere is kind of what I think gravitates a lot of people towards it. And catches people's attention and quite honestly makes people fall in love with the game. So I think that's cool, and it's exciting now that more people in a new state are able to watch hockey.